He's trying to get me to ID without me committing a crime or an act of a crime or about to commit a crime. And that's the only reason why. That's the only way I know I know of the law that I'd have to ID. Otherwise, I don't have anything to do with this traffic stop. It's between him and the driver.
Well, I understand that, but we have the right to identify everybody in the vehicle.
Who's your supervisor? I got to be committing a crime, and about to commit a crime, or an act of a crime to be ID'd.
Here's the deal. Well, now listen. Here's the deal. We have the right to identify everybody in the vehicle.
That's false. That's false.
If you don't provide ID,
you're also allowed to lie to me too.
Then I can. If you don't provide me ID, then I can get you out of the car and detain you until we figure out who you are.
That'd be illegal detainment.
No, it's not.
Oh, yes, it will be. I promise you it will be.
Go ahead and step out.
Today's video comes from Jimmy Osborne. It was filmed on June 14th, 2024, and it stars the Mountain City Police Department in Mountain City, Tennessee. I thought I've seen the dumbest of the dumb, and then I see a cop that's even dumber. These hick cops are willing to pull a passenger out of a vehicle, a passenger that hasn't committed any crimes and was not in operation of the vehicle, simply because he won't provide ID when there's no legal precedent stating that he should even give it. This one's crazy. Jimmy Osborne is riding passenger in the back seat of one of his friend's vehicles when the Mountain City Police pull the car over. At this point, the moving violation hasn't even been alleged. But these cops are already gearing up for what they think could be the apocalyptic crime of the century. The car's surrounded, every single cop has their hand on their duty weapon, and flashlights are filling the inside of the vehicle. One thing's certain, regardless if any crime was committed or not, they're taking somebody, and they're definitely going to violate some rights.
Is this window go down?
Sorry, my window don't go down. Oh,
I can't open it. I can't. This window don't go down.
I'm the supervisor. We're gonna see what he wanted.
Yeah. He's trying to get me to ID without.
Open your door. I can't hear you.
You'll have to open it.
He's trying to get me to ID without me committing a crime or an act of a crime or about to commit a crime. And that's the only reason why. That's the only way I know I know of the law that I'd have to ID. Otherwise, I don't have anything to do with this traffic stop. It's between him and the driver.
Well, I understand that, but we have the right to identify everybody in the vehicle.
Who's your supervisor?
My supervisor?
Yeah, because that's not the way it is. I got to be committing a crime, and about to commit a crime, or an act of a crime to be ID'd.
Here's the deal. Here's the deal. Here's the deal.
And there it is, the only phrase that they actually know. Our constitutional rights are inalienable. They're not negotiable. Cops always suggesting that there's a deal suggest that there's some quid pro quo or some bargaining available. When it comes to the Constitution, you don't exchange this for that. In this example, the cops want this passenger to exchange his constitutional rights for their personal wants and needs. There is no deal, and officers, it's the policy of the United States to never negotiate with terrorists. And you trying to run down, intimidate, and violate an innocent passenger without being able to articulate a crime or even suspect one, well, that's exactly what you are.
I mean, I don't have any warrants on me or nothing like that. I'm just standing up for my rights. And I'm not trying to be difficult.
Well, now listen, here's the deal. We have the right to identify everybody in the vehicle.
Wrong again. It's important to note that passengers never have to identify themselves to law enforcement officers during a traffic stop unless there's reasonable articulable suspicion or probable cause that that passenger has been, is currently in the commission of, or is about to commit a felony, misdemeanor, ordinance violation, or moving violation. If none of the above has been committed, the passenger doesn't have to ID because the police officer has taken possession of the driver. Now, under the holdings of Pennsylvania v. Mims, the police officer has the ability to remove the occupants of the vehicle from the vehicle without citing a crime, but they can't ID them. And the most dangerous part about this stop is it has nothing to do with the cops actually believing the passenger has committed a crime. That doesn't seem to be up for debate. It's only because these cops don't know that the law prohibits them from doing this in the first place. But what can we expect from 6 weeks of training?
That's false. That's false.
If you don't provide ID,
you're also allowed to lie to me too.
Then I can. If you don't provide me ID, then I can get you out of the car and detain you until we figure out who you are.
Now, I know at this point the passenger's probably very nervous, but nervous should not be the feeling permeating his brain right now. The feeling he should be feeling is elation and confusion. Confusion on how he's possibly going to spend all the money that he's going to win off this lawsuit. Passenger hasn't committed a crime. Police officer demands that passenger gives up identification. Fourth Amendment guarantees this passenger is secure in his person's papers and effects, including his identification. Because no crime has been committed, and passenger won't unlawfully ID, police will now detain this man and place him in restraints because he's done nothing wrong to begin with. That makes sense.
That'd be illegal detainment.
No, it's not.
Oh yes, it will be. I promise you it will be. Can you get your
Go ahead
supervisor
and
here?
step out.
I don't have any weapons on me. I don't consent to any searches or seizures. I don't consent to any searches or seizures. I don't consent to any searches or seizures.
As right now, you're just being detained until.
Oh, buddy, I'm allowed to record.
Turn around, you're being detained.
Mountain City, you guys are all up. I don't consent to any searches or seizures. Whoops, I've been searched and seized.
No, I'm allowed to
You're
record.
being detained.
I'm allowed to
You're
record.
being detained.
You're violating my First Amendment rights too.
Stack up the lawsuit. First Amendment violation, Fourth Amendment violation, and a Fifth Amendment violation when they press him because he won't answer their questions he's not obligated to. There's an argument that's constantly permeating this community, and that argument is that the Constitution at this point is just a piece of paper. And you might be surprised to find that I agree with this sentiment. Not because the Constitution has no meaning or warrant, but because we the people have allowed ourselves to become sheep. And the very values that founded this great nation that are represented by that Constitution have been ignored for far too long, allowing former public servants and now road pirates to trample all over our rights. The control is within us to decide just how much the Constitution has power and how much of that power it still holds. And it's out of basic fear and necessity that that power continues to dwindle and diminish. Because in situations like this, people don't want to take the ride. They don't want to go to jail. So they help the cops along, they waive their Fourth Amendment rights, and they give up their ID, even though no crime has been committed. After doing that, cops like you've seen in this video think that they're well within their rights to violate yours. And then when someone like Jimmy comes around and refuses to bend the knee to their tyranny, they take it personally. And they think that they're well within their rights and they're not doing anything wrong because the last citizen waived their rights. So how dare this one not do the same? I don't know if you've heard the saying, it takes a village, but when it comes to freedom, it most certainly does. We all have to work together to make sure our rights are respected and stand firm. This is a government of the people, for the people, and by the people. Or at least that's what it's supposed to be. 300 years ago, citizens of this country refused to lay down their arms and to bend the knee to tyranny, because if you stand for this, you'll bend for that. They fought and many died because they had nothing to lose. Because without a free society, society was just not worth living in. And now people think that they have everything to lose. It's not worth standing on your rights and standing for what's right because you could get arrested. But it takes that illegal arrest and the community standing up against that illegal arrest to ensure freedom that so many people have fought for over the course of so many centuries. So back to the first question. Is the Constitution just a piece of paper? Well, I guess that's up to you. Check out Jimmy Osborne. Let him know that Accountability for All sent you. His original video link and channel link will be in the description of this video. Practically no one has seen what's happened to him. And when I mean no one, I mean I was the second person to view the video, even though it's been released days ago. When someone is wronged, it is society's responsibility to come together and rally behind that victim, or we only help perpetuate more victims. So check out Jimmy, set the notification bell to always, and tell him Accountability for All sent you. Share his video, and make sure all your friends see what happened to him too. But most importantly, get in the comment section. Let him know where you saw his video, and let him know that you have his 6. And that's the reason I stopped you today.